Hello guys, seeing as there was so many of you that seemed so interested in my new beekeeping adventure, as I told you, starting today I'll start doing some reels and just posting about beekeeping and learning and how intricate it is and everything that's involved. And let me tell you to start off, if you're thinking of getting involved or it's something that you want to do your research. There is so much to learn. It's not even funny. I have just barely scratched the surface. So for the record, this is only my third week of beekeeping. So I am still extremely new. I have already learned a lot in this short time. So don't take everything I say as gospel, but this is totally a great learning experience. So I did start this adventure about 3 weeks ago. I picked up my first 2 nukes. They're nucleus colonies, so that's a starter colony of bees. It comes with about 4 frames of bees it should have some brood on it, which are capped babies, little baby bees ready to hatch. It should come with some honey on it. It also comes with your queens and your one queen and your whole bunch of worker. Unfortunately, the first 2 nukes that I picked up, I did not have great queens in there. This is something that can happen, I mean, when you're dealing with animals and livestock. So, but luckily my nuke providers were really great and they've exchanged both of them. So my nuke that's in the other hive over there, I'll go to afterwards, my iris hive. I picked them up almost 2 weeks ago. And they're doing great so far. They're doing really well. My daffodil hive, I just had to go and exchange this nuke last night. So I figured I'd show you guys when you bring home a nuke and you can put it into, and you're just putting into your new hive for the first time. So what I did when I brought it home last night was I have it so that it's sitting on the bottom board. It's sitting exactly where the hive itself is going. And I left it there overnight and I've come back the next afternoon. So what this does is it allows all the bees in this hive to do what's called an orientation flight. So you can see them all kind of flying out and coming around and flying back in. What bees do is when they come out of their hive in the morning is they literally GPS their location. So they know exactly where they're flying back into. So even though you'll have multiple hives sitting side by side, the bees are actually GPSing to their own location. So we've given them the chance to do that. And so now we're going to be putting them into their hive the first time. As I'm doing this, I'm going to be going through, checking out my frames. And I'm also going to want to be looking for my queen, seeing if I can find her. You don't always, but it is definitely a good thing to try and look for. So with that being said, let's get these girls into their new home. So usually you just kind of give your front entrance a bit of a smoke. This smoke is, a lot of people think that what the smoke does, it's actually kind of drugging your bees a bit. That's not it at all. Literally the only thing that's in my smoker is some straw. All the smoke does is when the bees smell the smoke, is it kind of almost gives them the sense that there's fire, there's danger, so they're wanting to go into their hive. So that's all it does. It just forces the bees into the hive so that they're not just all hovering right at the top. So same thing is you just kind of smoke the top a little bit so that when you're opening it up, the bees are kind of just going down into the frames a little bit and not staying right at the top there. So this that we're going to be putting on, this is called an entrance reducer. This is really good when you first get, either in the winter time or when you're first getting a nucleus starting. It gives them a smaller entrance to go in and out of. One of the good reasons why you're doing this is because they still haven't built up their numbers. It helps them to defend their hive easier by having a smaller area for them to go into, or for them to defend, sorry. My other hive, you'll see that I've taken off the entrance reducer, so now that it's getting warmer, I'm not worried so much about how cold it is overnight, because it's still warm enough and the girls have built up their numbers enough that they can defend it. So in the hive, so this is called a Langstroth hive. There's 10 frames in it. The frames that I have, they already kind of have a plastic wax basing to them. It just allows the bees to start building their comb up faster. So I have 6 frames that are in here, empty frames, and so I'll be putting in the 4 new frames. When we're putting the frames in, we also want to be putting in exactly how they're coming out of the box, because the bees build their hives a certain way. So, first hive, as I'm picking them up, like hopefully you guys can see the back side as I'm looking at the front side. So the side that I am looking at, I'm seeing a lot of the capped brood. So that's going to be the darker coloring that you're going to see. And then up in the corners, I've got some really nice capped honey. And I'm not seeing the queen on that side, but that's okay. So yeah, so what you guys were seeing where all those girls are congregating, that's all dark capped brood. So you can see in the front now, up in the corners here, that's capped honey, and the middle is capped brood. So that's all baby eggs or baby bees that are going to be hatching soon. So this is great. This is exactly what we want to see. This is the type of nice laying pattern that you're going to want when you're putting your girls in. So we're just going to put these girls right into their new homes and just slide them over here. There we go. Okay, frame number 2. You guys should I hope you guys are noticing too when I take them out that bees get such a bad rap for, you know, stinging and all that, but they're not like that. These guys are a managed species. They're actually like, you know, queens are bred to be docile. So you can just see how the girls, like, they're not flying off, they're not going crazy. Okay, so on this side that I'm looking at, there's a little bit of capped brood, but there is a ton of larvae, and we've got honey and pollen on the side, which is awesome. So when I spin this around, so hopefully you guys can kind of see into there. There's all little baby bees right down in there, tiny little larvae. So on the side you guys were seeing, same thing, capped brood in the middle with little larvae in the middle. So how the bees work, and we've got some capped honey up on the side there. So how these guys work is that the queen will lay an egg right in the middle of the cell, and then that larvae will grow, and then what they'll do is they'll cap it over, and then 21 days later for a worker bee, they will hatch out. But this whole time that the larvae is in here, as your nurse bees are feeding them all. Okay, so far no queen. I'm assuming she's probably going to be on this frame that I'm taking out now. So, and part of this by showing you guys this side, when I go back and look, this gives me the opportunity to try and see the queen on the frame when I go back and watch the videos. That's how I've actually found a couple of my queens in the past. So this is another reason why I started doing this. Just going to try and take a quick look here. Okay, so right here we've got, this is all capped honey in the sides. We've got brood in the middle. If you can see all those little white dots, that is all baby larvae bees, so that's really great. Taking another close look here. It's not that you find the queen every time, but I've just kind of learned when I'm putting the nukes in that I really, really want to try and take that opportunity to find her. So if I don't see her on the next frame, I might just take the other frames out quickly and take a look for her. Okay, so hopefully she's on this last one here. Oh, this last frame is really, so this is a lot of honey. You can see that's all, this frame, except that little bit in the middle, this is pretty much almost a pure honey frame. So that's great. That honey is the bees' food. And I'm going to take a nice close look on this side. Okay. So you guys can see this is awesome. I can't wait to show you. So when you guys are buying your honey in the stores, This is what the frame will look like. That's almost a full frame of honey. So that is amazing. That is so great. Okay. So I'm just going to take the opportunity to try and take a closer look here. Usually when you're seeing the queen, she's going to be on a frame that has brood on it. So I'm just going to go back and check my last two frames again quickly. I really hope though that you guys, by kind of like following along this little journey on me, will maybe kind of, you know, learn to give bees a little bit more respect. This is great. Sometimes you end up with bees left over in the box, but these girls are pretty much empty. So I'm still going to leave the box down here. I just leave it overnight anyways, just while they're kind of getting accustomed to their new home. So like, I'm not even really needing to smoke them too much because they're doing pretty good. But being a brand new colony, and even though they have lots of food, my smoker is kind of going here. So I'm just going to throw a little bit of smoke down. There. And just by doing that, it's just, so when I lay, so this thing that I'm putting on right now, it's called a queen excluder. So the holes are big enough that worker bees can get through, but the queen can't. Then I am throwing on this, it's called just your inner cover for your hive. You can see there's a little hole up top there so the bees can enter through the top or the bottom. Go. And we'll just put that right on there. So the girls can access it through the inside. And then, so the girls can access it through the inside. And then I just put this on top just to hide the feeder, just so other bees and that can't come in and keep robbing. So it's just a deep inner cover. And by putting that queen excluder on it, make sure that she can't get up into that feed area and start laying eggs. So there we go, lid is on. You can see all the girls hovering around, getting used to going in and out of their new entrance. So that's really great. With bees this time of year, and especially the nukes, you probably want to be checking on them about once a month. Sorry, not once a month, once a week. And yeah, so we'll come back next week. We'll check the feeders, see how much they've gone through. We'll see how much they're expanding into the new frames. One of the things that set me off that there was something wrong with the old colony was that those 4 frames that I had put in, after 3 weeks, they had not built any more new comb. So that's a really good sign that something was not right with that queen. So this queen, she's got a really good laying pattern, you can see from those. So we'll see what it looks like in a week and we'll come back. So for my other girls, we're just gonna pop over and change the feeders on them in the bee yard today. We'll come back and check on these girls in a week and see how they're doing. I'm so happy that so many of you guys are so interested in following this journey with me. I'm super excited. Any of my co-workers and my close friends, if you talk to, are probably sick of hearing me talk about bees. But if you have any bee questions, anything you guys want me to talk about or address when we go through our inspection next week, maybe throw some in the comments and let me know. Like I said, I'm still learning, but I'm happy I just want to learn as much as I can, and I'm just loving sharing this with all of you guys. So please, anything you want to know about bees, send some questions my way and we'll talk about it next time. See you guys.